welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and today we're here with what do you do with all those bonus triangles that everybody's making? So we're going to be making pinwheels. This is a viewer requested video, and I thought this is such a good idea because we all end up with these bonus triangles, and we're like, okay, now what do we do with them? So I have a little quick cheat here, and it's going to be a fun, fast little video. So pull out your bonus square, your half square triangles like this, and we'll show you how to make pinwheels very quickly out of them. Now, we have to do our shout out first, right? And it's Sherrie from Lessons Learnt. Now, her YouTube channel is going to be in our show notes below. She's having a lot of fun over on her channel, so give her a shout. You know the drill. If you like what you see over there, tell her that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. And she doesn't know this is coming at all, so it's going to be a surprise. So now, the other thing you're going to find in the show notes below, other than her YouTube channel, is our Zoom link for our monthly sew dates. Now, our monthly sew dates are a lot of fun. And it's not just quilters from Canada and the US that are coming. It's from everywhere. And we have some amazing people that show up for those quilt dates. So it's been a lot of fun, and we just decided we're going to continue doing them for the rest of the year. So the dates are going to be in the show notes as well, so you can mark them on your calendar. Now, we only got until May marked out because we're not sure when we're camping with our grandkids, but we'll let you know as soon as we can. We know when, so it might be the second Saturday instead of the first Saturday. But okay, now the other thing you're going to find in the show notes is our Facebook group. It's growing rapidly. We're having so much fun over there. It's a very warm, welcoming community. We've got community chats, fabric swaps, asking questions, showing quilts. Some amazing people have been posting their finished products in there. It is like, wow, really impressive stuff that we're seeing in there. And it's all scrappy quilts, and it's been so much fun in there. If you're part of the Facebook community and you're looking for quilting group, that's the one to come join. Now, share, like, and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. We speak for free to quilt guilds and quilting groups, right? There's no minimum. There's no maximum. There's none. I just do it over Zoom. I don't have a 300-pound trunk show that I drag across the country anywhere. I just do it over Zoom, and I don't make money at this. And we're trying to help the guilds out so that they don't have to pay for a speaker. So they might have to rent audio, video equipment or whatever, but that's it. It's quite a bit easier. So come on in. We have some fun little lessons with a little cheat in here. Come on in. Okay, so here we have a bunch of bonus triangles. These aren't like stuff that I've cut off, but what has happened is someone gave me a bag of half square triangles, so I tried my best to use them up. So what we're going to do today is make pinwheels. But when we're working with our bonus triangles, as you can see here, this does not, like if I match up the purple points, they don't match up. And that's the biggest problem with those bonus triangles is, you sew them, and you can sew them at the same time that you're making them. I mean, it's entirely up to you. But when I end up with a bunch of half square triangles like this, I only match one corner. I try to match only one corner, right? I'm not, centering it or anything like that. I'm just going to match one corner. I'm going to just get, a few of these sewn here. Hopefully all the right pieces. And sometimes too, they're even cut a little wonky because somebody's cutting them in a hurry, right? Like, okay, here, like for instance, this one is not cut square. So I'm just going to do my best to try and get it, lined up. And I'm going to sew it, and I'm going to hope for the best. And the purple one looks square at a 45-degree angle, and the white does not. So you just have to, okay, like this is not square. This has got a wow in it. So when we're sewing them, we're putting that first point through, and we're staying away from the wow. So that means our seam is going along the purple fabric, not the white fabric. And this is perfect example of, sometimes, people just, they cut it off and I'll deal with it later. Well, this is later, and now we have to deal with it. So And I think I can make some very cute blocks out of this. And I have a bunch of them. Okay. Actually, I have a big bag still. I'm like, oh dear. Okay, now I'm gonna sew an extra couple here I'm gonna sew an extra one here, or one or two of them here, just to move them out. Oops, I should probably go this way. So I'm sewing them all the same way. So I'm gonna line up that straight edge, because that straight edge is straight, where this is not, not as straight. So, anyways, okay. You get the idea. Okay. So now I have 4. Right? I have, oops, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what I'm going to do, okay, this one's obviously got way too much fabric, so I'm just going to trim off that bit of fabric, because it's just going to create bulk, so nobody needs that. So I'm going to press now to the dark side. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, remember, I've matched up one side, but not the other. So I'm just going to gently pull them out, and then I'm going to clip off the dog ears. And I go down at an angle, a steeper angle than 45 degrees, to reduce bulk in that seam. Okay? So I'm going to lay this out first, just like so. Okay. Now, I'm going to do the same again. And press to the dark, and I just gently finger press these down. So this is the point I've matched, right? Okay, so we're gonna get right in there, and okay, I could probably trim off some of that extra white, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Just relax. It's supposed to be a fun, joyful hobby, right? Okay. Now, we've got, this is just pet bed material, of course. Now, once we figure out where we are, okay, so all of these points right here have been matched up, and this is all the odds, it is where it landed, right? Kind of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take those match points and put them all towards the center, right? Just like that, right? So all of the odds and sods points now are the ones that don't match up, or there's too much white, because the white squares are obviously bigger, now are on the outside edge, and all the matched points are the ones that we can match up the best are now in the center. So now we're just going to nest the center. This center, this is the point where we're going to try and match up, right? People see me do this all the time, and they're kind of like, how do you do that? They match. So you want to make sure you got really good nesting in there and have it run through. And you're going to have it run the same way you're sewing it. So that's going to go in nice and close, tight nest. And then you're just going to sew the rest of it out. And you're just going to run another triangle through. And we're matching one edge, not the other. Okay. Now these are pretty big, but I wanted to show you what to do with the bigger block. So anyways, okay, so now we've got one pinwheel that we just got to finish, and an extra half square triangle, right? So instead of, we're just going to push them over, and this point, because there's a little connecting thread in there, now we want to match these seams up, this seam right here. So now we're going to flip that over. We're going to see where all these seams are going. Now these seams are going this way. The 2 out of 3 are going this way, so we want to press this one up and the other one down, right? This seam here, you want to press it the other way, right? So it's going to go, one is going to go up, the other one's going to go down. So in order, I want to tightly, as tight as possible, nest that middle. Okay. And make sure it gets right in there. Tight nesting. There we go. Now we're past the edge. Okay. Now I've got a couple of samples here that I can give you for squaring up just half square triangles, right? So you got this and this. And yeah, none of these are kind of matched, but I mean, you can work with them. You can make something happen with them that is nice, right? Okay, so I just need to grab my, just a minute here, I'll show you what, now, you can see all of these, now this is going this way and that's going that way. Sorry. So this stuff is starting to spin this way, so you want that middle to pop like that. So you have a perfectly flat center, or as flat as possible center, and it creates yet another little pinwheel, right? Let's see if you can see that. Okay, oops, there. It creates yet another little pinwheel right there. So this gets really flat, and because you've taken your time to nest, okay, I can't see what's going on in this camera there. You've taken your time to nest, those points in the middle meet perfectly, right? So now I just have to get my squaring up ruler, which is hopefully close at hand. I'll have to cut here and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back with squaring up rulers. Now I have a smaller squaring up ruler. I also have a 12 or 13 inch or 12 and a half inch squaring up ruler for bigger blocks, but this one works better for like blocks like this, and this one works great for these smaller ones, right? So it's because it's got all the 8th markings. So I'll show you how to do this. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to lie this out pressed. No, it wasn't pressed. It was finger pressed. And you're going to see how big you can make this block. I'm just going to move this out of the way because it's in the way. So I've got not quite 7. I get 6.5 inches this way and this way. So the biggest block I can make is 6.5 inches, which is a good block, good size block, right? So I want to cut with this 45-degree line running right through the 2 axes and the 3 1/4 as best you can through the center, right? You're gonna, sometimes they're a little wonky, but you have to work with it, right? There we go. Did that come out? Yes, it did. Okay, so now we're going to turn it. And now you want to line up that 45-degree all the way through. And you want to start lining up your 6.5 lines. You can also, now I've done this where I wanted to have some fun with the block, and I've just cut my triangles all wonky. So instead of making a 6.5 inch block, I make a 5.5 inch block, and I cut it like this, so it becomes like a hidden pinwheel, or a disappearing pinwheel. That's up to you, but that's just an idea. So I now have a 6.5 inch, square ruler or square block, which I can use in other things, right? Like I can build around this block now and do other stuff. And that's basically how you square it up. You match all the center bonus blocks to the center first, work your way out, sew it into a pinwheel, and then square it up to a common size that you're going to use. Now, let's talk about just the half square triangles, because you might have dozens and dozens of these, but not want to make a pinwheel, right? I make pinwheels and then square it up because it's a bigger piece of fabric to work with, right? It's not this tiny little things you get, sometimes that people are pulling off and they're like, wow, it's so tiny. So I take a smaller one, a smaller squaring up ruler, and I'm hoping I can get a 3.5 out of this. I'm not sure. I haven't done any measuring here whatsoever. So I'm going to put this now. So I've got a 45-degree line where I've got this. Ooh, look at this. I can make a 3.5 inch square. So now normally I would be squaring this up from right standing and looking straight down on it. But when I do that, my head gets in the way, and I'm a natural redhead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my 45-degree. I got 3.5 almost all the way around. So we're talking like trimming threads. That's it. That's what we're trimming off this side. Okay. And then we take that side and we flip it. And now we line this all up on the 45-degree line again. And we take 2, 3.5, which is right here. Where is this? Yeah, right there. 3.5 square. The 3.5 square is good square to work with. There's one cut. And we're just cutting off thread. Basically a thread or two width. So there now is how I square them up. Now, if I have hundreds and hundreds of these to square up, I try and make some, like if they're all little and they're cut off from a 2.5-inch strip, I try and sew them together either in pinwheels or hourglass blocks or something. So it's a bigger piece of fabric to work with. So when you're using this square, it's not going to disappear. But always line that up, because this is where you're going to be sewing to. And when you're trying to match this half square triangle up with other points, you're going to need that right on point. So I hope that's helpful for you there, but we'll see. We'll get to our big ta-da moment now on our blocks. So here's our cute little pinwheel, all from our bonus triangles. Now I know this one's a little bit larger, but I needed you to see, what goes on and it's easier for me to handle, to show you. You do the same method when you're using those small bonus triangles too, right? I mean, you can either square them up just, by sewing 4 of them together, either in a pinwheel or an hourglass, or you can square them up just by, one at a time. Now, this one at a time method works okay when you're handling something a little larger. When you're doing something really tiny, it gets hard very quickly to manage that, let's say 1.5-inch, half square triangle that you're doing. So it's up to you how you want to do it. Just remember, take your time, use your 45-degree line on your ruler, and don't do thousands at one time. Don't feel pressured to do that. Just do a few, as many as you can do in a day, like 100 or 50. That's it. And then stop, then move on to something else, because this is supposed to be fun, not stressful. So I hope you have an absolutely lovely week ahead and everything goes your way and life is good for you. Okay, so take care until we see each other again. Okay, bye. My husband and I would love to thank you for watching our videos and being part of our Facebook group and coming to our Zoom meetings. It's been so much fun on this little adventure that we've been on YouTube. I just want to we are doing Zoom sew dates still coming up and those dates are going to be listed in the show notes of this video. For the next year, we're making that commitment to you, and we're having a lot of fun with those Zoom sew dates. So please, feel free to come in. Even if you're not a quilter and you just want to come and do some crocheting or knitting or whatever, yeah, come on down. We're good. The other thing is I still am doing speaking engagements for the quilt gals just to help them out to get back on their feet. I am doing only Zoom meetings. And I have a PowerPoint presentation that talks about all the free patterns that we have put out and will be putting out to the world. So they're more than welcome to take any of my patterns and use them for their charity quilts, right? So that's kind of important that they know that we're there. So if you are part of a guild, let your programs person know that we're speaking for free over Zoom only. We're not doing any traveling or anything like that. The other thing that I want to let you know is that we do in our Facebook group, everybody's sharing pictures and having fun and asking questions, and it's a hoot. And we do still have the room feature in Facebook that we can go sew within. My admin person, Kathy, was able to set that up. It's no longer called Brenda's room, it's called Kathy's room, but we got a room. We do have a room working, so we're all happy with that. So if you get the opportunity to come join us on Facebook, that's great. We'd love to have you. So until we meet again, I hope you have you and your family have an absolutely amazing weeks ahead, okay? You take care. All right, bye.